Well, hello. Today's movie is the 1979 made for TV An American Christmas Carol. It is 1933, Depression era Concord, New Hampshire. Benedict Slade is a miserly old man who runs a finance company. Christmas Eve, he goes around and repossesses stuff. He also decides to fire his clerk Thatcher because he tried to convince him to open a quarry. He gets a visit from his deceased business partner, Jack Latham. He warns Slade is fated for a grim afterlife if he doesn't change his ways. 3 ghosts will visit him. The first takes the form of a man who runs a university bookstore that he repossessed from. He goes back to the past and sees himself as a child in an orphanage. A businessman chooses him for an apprentice position. He grows up and falls in love with the daughter. But he chooses to be a ruthless businessman over marriage and happiness. The second ghost comes in the form of the orphanage manager. He's the ghost of Christmas Present. He takes him to see the fired clerk, Thatcher's family. The young boy needs treatment in Australia for a condition, or he may die. Finally, he gets a visit from the third ghost. He comes in the form of a farmer who now dresses like Disco Stew. He sees the future and sees his business being sold off at auction for pennies on the dollar. The big seller is a picture of himself that gets tossed on the fire. He sees his uncared for grave. Next Christmas, he visits his fired clerk and brings gifts for the family, including tickets to Australia for the son. He goes around giving back the repossessed stuff, plus some gifts for them. It ends with him giving an orphan the same chance that he got. So this movie was made for TV movie that aired first in 1979 on ABC. And of course it starred Henry Winkler. Now, Henry Winkler at this time was a very big popular actor thanks to the Happy Days and his character Fonzie. And they did a pretty good job of making him real old type of guy, and he could still play the young parts in the past. And this is kind of I know I watched this movie I found it in the '90s or something on a cable channel, and I really loved it. It's like one of the many Charles Dickens adaptations of Christmas carols. This one they decided to set in Depression era New England, and that was a pretty good setting for it, I think. And it's one of these that I really enjoy. It's probably one of my favorite of the Dickens Christmas Carol adaptations. It's very faithful to the story. I mean, it has the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and they had their own little stuff with it. I like the future one where he's dressed up like some kind of guy off the disco floor because that was 1979, I guess. So that was contemporary future for the time. And there's not much to say about it. I think it's I'm glad that Shout Factory released it on Blu-ray because it's one of these shows I have to watch every Christmas, and it's a fun show. Some stuff in it that you probably wouldn't know is that there was a Sister Kenny in Australia who had this kind of treatment for polio. Although it's was shared with everybody, so it could have technically been done by a doctor, probably in New Hampshire at the time. Didn't have to travel there. But that's fine because most people wouldn't know that. And I guess it was filmed in Shrewsbury, Ontario. And it's just Henry Winkler did a great job of it. I thought, it was this old man. They had him really made up well, and it's just like it's like Christmas Carol is always one of the favorite movies of favorite stories around Christmas, and it's been done like so many different versions, and I probably haven't even seen even a quarter of them, but this is a solid entry for it. I definitely have a recommendation for it, and I hope you have a great Christmas that's coming up. And if you stuck with me this long, you're a unique individual.